Hello and welcome to London Property. I'm Farnaz Fazaipour. We believe in the power of collaboration, and today we're thrilled to announce our collaboration with Basil Demeroutis, who's the Managing Director of FORE Partnership, leading the way sustainability in real estate. Basil, welcome to the show. For those in the commercial real estate market, you need no introduction. So I ask you, for our audience who may not have been involved in the sector, can you tell us a bit more about your history and also your passion for the future of real estate?
So we set up FORE Partnership about 11 years ago now with the singular idea that the real estate industry needs to transform and become more sustainable, and that there was also a business to be made and profit to be made, most importantly, from investing in a more sustainable way with our commercial real estate activities. So since then, we've been investing our own capital and the capital of our clients and investors, who are mostly family offices and endowments, in buying effectively brown, broken real estate, upgrading the energy performance and social impact of the buildings, and turning them into prime trophy assets that are prepared for the future.
And you also take a front row seat when it comes to sustainability in real estate. So can you tell us a little bit more about your activity in that area?
Over the last 10 years, we've been really, some people say, pioneers in the commercial real estate world in terms of sustainability. Our buildings have won multiple awards nationally as well as locally. We're a certified B Corporation, which means that we've satisfied the very, very highest levels of sustainability and social impact. I'm on the board of trustees of the UK Green Building Council, and our advice is often sought after by even many of our peers and competitors in terms of how to build sustainable commercial buildings.
So if you had to explain to us what is the problem with regards to the waste that the real estate industry creates, what would you tell us in a nutshell?
So I think we all understand that we're in the midst of a climate crisis. I think what most people in the general public don't really fully appreciate is that real estate, the built environment, is responsible for something like 40% of all greenhouse gas emissions. That's more than any other sector in the economy. In terms of real estate specifically, again, in terms of the materials that we mine and harvest out of the earth every year, something like 50% of everything we dig out of the earth goes into the built environment. When you think of that in terms of per capita, something like 40 kilograms of newly mined materials for every person on the planet every single day goes into our built environment. Here in the UK, something like 60% of all landfill comes from the built environment. So the problem is huge, and real estate's really at ground zero.
So really, as real estate professionals, we have a huge responsibility to address this, and it is now being put into fast forward by the laws that are being introduced. So can you tell us a bit more about what we're going to be expected to do and, you know, the sort of timelines for that?
I think there's a combination of economic carrot that's being dangled in front of us in terms of the opportunity set to invest sustainably in the built environment. And if that's not enough, there certainly is a fair dose of regulatory stick that's coming. Some of your viewers may be aware of the minimum energy efficiency standards, these EPC certificates, where you are required, every building in the country, 26 million residential buildings, 1.5 billion commercial buildings, needs to have by law an energy performance certificate. The government is considering legislation now to make it unlawful to rent out new space that fails to meet a minimum energy performance certificate of B. So only buildings that are rated A or B will be able to be let by 2030. That's a huge change, and it renders something like 85% of all commercial buildings obsolete in 6 years' time.
Isn't there something else also where companies that have more than 50 million in revenue or 200 employees also from 2025 have to start reporting on 1,000 data points to do with their ESG?
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. And I think it's part of a wider narrative, which is that there's an incredibly rich and dense tapestry of regulations that are coming our way in terms of sustainability and social impact. Globally, there's something like 600 standards, certifications, and other requirements that companies need to adhere to when they're thinking about the space that they build or indeed that they own and occupy.
FORE Partnership hold 1 million square feet of commercial space. Obviously, having launched the company with sustainability at the heart of your ethos, you are more prepared than most for these pending changes. So what is your advice to other property owners and what they should be doing, and where do they start?
Yeah, it's a funny asset class, isn't it? Because real estate, particularly commercial real estate, used to be this buy and forget approach. We buy income generating assets, think that we hold long-term stable cash flows over the long period of time, and we can park them in our portfolios as ballast to prepare for a rainy day. I think real estate has really been upended in many ways over the last 4 or 5 years with the onset of these climate-driven regulations and the urgency around climate change to really change the dynamic almost 180 degrees. What used to be thought of as a long-term core prime asset that you could hold on forever and pass on to your children is now like a grenade with a pin pulled, because you know that in 5 years' time, 6 years' time, that building actually may not even be able to have tenants anymore in it. So the time is now really to get on top of these issues, to come up with properly considered technical business plans for these assets, figure out how to make sure that they don't become stranded assets in 5 years' time, and put in place a concrete plan to improve them and prepare them for the future.
Your passion for sustainability in real estate and the future of real estate has led you to make your services available to others who really need to address this need for upgrading the real estate and avoid having them being stranded assets, as you say.
We've been increasingly asked by others whether we would come and help them do, whether it's a sustainability health check, all the way through to developing a business plan, executing, and in some cases even funding the business plan for them to de-strand the assets. So we've decided to launch that as a separate advisory side of the business to enable others to benefit from our wealth of experience in this area.
And that's why we're here today. So we're talking about the service that we're very pleased to help you promote amongst our community. So let's talk about what does that entail? So somebody calls you up and says, Basil, please come and help.
Look, there's a wealth of very competent technical people out there who will give you as a landlord lots of great insights and information about how your building's operated, how much energy it's being used, the ways that you might be able to change the light bulbs, the building fabric. At the end of the day, these people don't sit on your side of the table, they sit on the opposite side of the table. So we're here to sit on your side of the table, how to make an informed decision with this myriad of very technical, often conflicting information that you might be getting from people who are just there to sell you a research report or a bit of technical insights. So that's what we do. We figure out the right people, we bring our teams, our consultants that we have developed relationships with over the last decade to come together and bring a very focused, very targeted, and most importantly, a very cost-effective way to ensure that your buildings don't become one of those stranded assets. I'd say let us come and do for you what we've done for ourselves and for our own portfolio these last decade. Let us help you make sense for all the complex technical advice that you're getting, put together a de-stranding business plan for you, and if you want, we'll even execute it for you and fund it for you.
Thank you very much for sharing your insight with us. I think we're thrilled to be part of this movement, and we will do everything that we can to raise awareness and make sure that people are addressing this emergency.